They called him Mount Morris because Jack Morris would blow up after getting roughed up in a game in Tiger Stadium. But listen to his feelings about the old ballpark.
Tell me about the night you came in to pitch for a special young man, and when you weren't supposed to pitch in the 70s, what happened?
Well, it was a game early in the year, 1978. I was actually in and out of the bullpen all year. Ralph Houck was the manager. He kept me up in the big leagues that year because I think he liked me. And I truly, when I reflect my whole career, it was probably one year that I probably did not deserve to be in the big leagues because I was hurting. My arm was hurting, and I had not completely recovered from rehab. And Ralph brought me up out of spring training and put me in the bullpen. And I remember our pitching coach came up to me about 20 minutes before game time, a game which Mark Fidrich was starting, and at the time the Bird was the word in Detroit. He was big. There was 45 to 50,000 people there. And he came up and he says, "Get your spikes on, you're going to pitch." And I looked at him like, "You're crazy. You know, I'm not pitching. Bird's pitch." He says, "No, he can't pitch. He's hurting. He can't pitch. You're going to start." So I hurried and got my spikes on and kind of makeshift, tried to get myself mentally ready, and I'm walking out to the bullpen to get my warm-ups in, and the PA announcer announces over the stadium speaker that, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Fidrich is unable to pitch today. Today's starting pitcher will be Jack Morris," and 45,000 people stood up and booed. It's crazy because I ended up beating Texas in that game, and by the end of the day they were cheering, but it was one of those things where the Bird was such a big name and had such a great year his rookie year and was so popular that people literally just came out to see him.
You know, you're always honest about Tiger Stadium. Now in retrospect, the place is coming down. Two things. First, tell me what it was like pitching there. Was it that frustrating because of the short dimensions? And secondly, how do you feel about it coming down?
Well, first of all, I can honestly say that indirectly or directly, Tiger Stadium made Jack Morris a pitcher. I had to learn that the only weapon I had was the grass. Everything that was in the air was a potential home run there. And especially with the wind and the way the ball can carry at different times of the year with the humidity levels. And, it's strictly a hitter's ballpark. But when Sparky got there and realized he had a young pitching staff, I think he realized that the only thing he could do to help his pitchers is to let the grass grow a little bit longer than most stadiums. And we had our groundskeeper make sure that the infield was a little bit taller than, I would say, most of the ballparks we played in the American League.
Right.
And I was forced to learn that if I'm going to give up base hits, they're going to be balls that get through the infield, and occasionally you're going to make a mistake and the ball goes out of the ballpark. But if you can get guys to hit the ball on the ground and have that grass and our great infield that we had, if we can have them hit the ball on the ground towards one of those guys, we got a chance to make a living here. And somehow I was able to do that. I look back after my years in Detroit, and I came back as a Twin and as a Blue Jay and as a Cleveland Indian, and when I come back into Tiger Stadium, I always shook my head and say, how in the hell did I ever make it that long there? Because it was a hitter's ballpark.